Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to what is the newly rebranded Essex Wolves YouTube channel. We've changed our name from Play Fight to Essex Wolves. It just brings it all under the same banner. It's a little less confusing, but the Play Fight Championship will stay under the same name. That being said, I am your Play Fight champion, the reigning defending, history-making Play Fight champion, John. I'm joined by my vice captain, Larry, and my right-hand man, Mr. Alex. Boys, how are you today?
I'm all good. I mean, it's all Good Friday. We're doing this, and also looking forward to tomorrow.
I'm
not too bad. I'm just chilling out, playing some Cold War, just because it's one of the most newest CODs that's actually fun. That's not.
Is it though?
Not boring. It's just a load of wacky, just shooting and just. Yeah, no, it's good. But it's been nice.
Yeah, I'm more looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
We head home
tomorrow.
Not only that, my title tomorrow.
Yes. Shall we just give a little explanation on that one? Because I think we should, just in case anyone hasn't seen the video on social media or
in case obviously I recorded a little video that hasn't hit social media yet. That will probably hit before this does, but just to get everything on the same wavelength. So WrestleMania Night 2, we had our predictions.
We forgot to do day one. It would have probably helped out so much if we did it for 2 days.
We completely missed it. It was literally like 2 minutes before we started. It started, and we was like, okay.
Yeah.
But night 2, we got our predictions done, and myself and Larry actually drew. We got 5 predictions right each.
Yeah.
Of course, championships don't change hands on a draw, and I know that's eaten Larry alive. So he threw down the challenge. He threw down the challenge for the tiebreaker, and as a fighting champion, I accepted. Yeah. So we head home tomorrow. Me, Alex, and Larry head into Belong, the home of the Essex Wolves. Belong Gaming Arena in Lakeside. Big shout out to them. And yeah, the tiebreaker is on. We're going to head down there. We're going to see what games are available, and then Mr. Alex is going to choose what we contend in. And of course, the winner will walk out with the Play Fight Championship, which will be me. So yeah,
no, it'll be this time.
That is what's going on. But that is tomorrow. Today, what we're here to talk about, the age-old debate. What is better? Now, obviously, we're on next gen at the moment. We've got the PlayStation 5, and we've got the Xbox Series X and S. Do you guys really count the S as a next gen console?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I would, because one, it does the quality of on all the games of the S for a much more cheaper price than a X. So you get the near-ish, but it's more of a smaller X, but you can play the quality of a series.
See, you don't get the full quality from the X. It's
no.
So with the S, obviously it does 4K resolution, but the Series X is native 4K, so it is 4K at its base.
Straight out the box.
But with obviously the Series S, it's 4K, but 4K resolution, but it upscales it from 1080.
Yeah.
So it's not full 4K. And then obviously the other thing is one, it's not got a tray, so it's all digital. It's a lot more compact. It's a lot more easier to transport
less
around.
Than half the price.
And it's half the price. And
obviously, it's about 300, 250. I think it's something like that. I can't remember what the money is.
If you're one that travels quite a lot and you want a next gen console, and you don't want to carry a big fridge around with you, then just carry a little white shoebox.
No, because I've seen what a lot of people are doing. I'm turning these into TVs, basically get this. I don't know. I think it's a third party thing where you put the thing on behind it and it turns into a TV.
Yeah. So that thing they did basically it's a little company that did a voting thing, and it basically they asked for so many votes and then they would publish it, actually produce it more so people can buy it. But there was a limited run of them, so there weren't a lot of them that you could get.
Yeah,
but I think they went for about 400 quid, maybe 200 quid just for the screen. I think it was quite expensive just because they were limited.
Yeah, but then again, they were so worth it.
Oh yeah,
So I know there was
100%,
one
like, you know.
for the PS4. I know my mate's got one for his PS4. It literally takes it everywhere with him, just in a case, and opens a case up, and he's got the screen there ready to just go.
That is the most awkward thing. That PS4 is not like. Is that a weird angle? So
Yeah,
That's-
it's a weird shape. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's basically just like carrying a big shoebox, but it's more of a shoe bag, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it just literally undoes it. The console's sitting in its base, and then the screen's there, and he's just ready to go. Which it's a really good idea. You know, we've had fun with it, like backstage at shows and that. So it is good, but yeah, I know it's pricey, you know, for what it is. But then, like you say, if that's what people do, like people are traveling around a lot, it's a really good idea.
It's very compact to have. It's the same like if you was going to decide
definitely.
whether to have a PS2 or a PS1. But a PS1 is so much smaller, but then the PS2 had its slim version.
Yeah.
So, you know, like the PS1 had its little version, the PS2 had its own little slim version.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
Yeah.
It is just preference whether you want to travel around with it more, or is it going to be a home console and you'd rather have the bigger one?
Yeah.
You know, the bigger.
It's not like the PlayStation 5 where they did one version. It was either disc or no disc.
And they were both the same size. They were both fat.
Yeah,
They're both
it.
massive.
Yeah, they're both fairly hefty. But yeah, back to topic. So we've all here got a next gen console.
Yes.
And obviously we've got access to them at Belong as well. So we've got that experience that we can bring our own thought process to each side of the battle. And I just think I want to give our side, like the Essex Wolves side, of what's winning at the moment between the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. I think if we leave the Series S out of it, because obviously the PS5, the disc and digital is it's exactly the same console, just without the disc option. So I think the comparison between the PS5 and the Series X is what we're looking at.
There is one thing I think we should just bear in mind. I do want to mention is actually one thing I do say Xbox, and especially with the S, they do is that monthly paid thing you can do. I don't know,
all access or something.
Yeah,
Xbox All Access. Yeah, so for the Series S, you pay 20. It's either 24 or 26 pound a month.
Yeah.
For 24 months, which is obviously a 2-year. And then I think the Series X was 37 or 38 a month for 2 years.
And it includes, doesn't it include, I think it was like a headset, obviously another controller and Ultimate in that. I think it was.
No. So that just comes with Ultimate and the console. It doesn't come with like extra stuff. It was just the Game Pass. I think Ultimate and then the console.
Which I think is a mega deal, and it's something I would say to anyone, especially on the.
If you're someone that does struggle with finance or anything to do with obviously with money, then it is a better way of doing it because you're spreading out the cost.
Yeah.
But at the same time, over them 2 years, you are paying a little bit more just because of interest.
It's not masses more though, which is good. Like,
it's not a lot.
Usually things like that will sting you. Like there'll be like with phones and cars, for instance. If you buy a phone or a car on finance,
20% like interest on it or whatever. It's ridiculous.
I think it's like 5% interest, the Xbox All Access, so it's not actually too bad. I think it's
the
something
only
that
thing I would say. Yes, I do say to anyone who is bear in mind thinking about doing that with the All Access, it's only got about 512 gigabytes.
Yeah, so 512 gig it comes with, but then bear in mind the updates and the system update. It takes it down to about 420 something, about 420 gig left.
Yeah, I mean, where the Xbox is
I think it's like
Tera.
70 or 80 gig just by software.
Yeah, where the Xbox is a Tera.
Yeah.
But I would say, just to bear in mind, so if you are playing on S, probably get a second hard drive. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
All
right, so I think, Larry, we'll start with you. What have you got? You own a PS5, didn't you?
I own actually, it's Alex's PS5 originally, I should say. It was one of the originals. He basically didn't want it. I was like, do you want it? I was like, okay, I'll take it off your hands. So, yeah. I was like, okay. Yeah, no.
So, how can I put this? If you was in a room against, or not even against someone, if you was in a room, right, and you're trying to sell someone a PS5 with your first-hand experience, what would you be making sure you 100% absolutely tell them?
I think first things first is obviously the exclusives. Sony are known for their exclusives, 100%. You look at the reviews of Sony's exclusives, they are some of the best out there. I'm very well aware Xbox are now starting to do that with Activision, and obviously they've bought Bethesda, and they're now doing that. But Sony have already got that with Demon Souls. They've got that with what's it called? What's the one with the female with the archery? It's called
Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon. The Wild West, I think, is the most recent, or Forbidden West, I think, is the new one.
Yeah, something like that.
Forbidden West, and then there's like Death Stranding and Astrobot, which I think is a brilliant free-to-play game, and then obviously the cream of the crop at the moment, Gran Turismo 7, which is, I know it's had its faults, but if you just look at it as a quality and performance, it is one of the best examples to show you as a kind of game. If you look at photos, the quality of it, especially if you've got a really good TV, it's remarkable. And I think secondly is the controller, especially with the adapting triggers, where basically certain games, let's say like a first-person shooter, even with Gran Turismo 7, it has a force feedback in the triggers, so which have a little bit of fight back. So let's say from braking, you will feel that brake, so you don't just suddenly go all in and basically give it all out. You can actually now feel that difference. You can feel where it is and everything. As well as that, I know. I mean, although I will say, admittingly, I think they've now fixed it. There were drifting issues, but I am aware. I think there were also drift issues on the Xbox with controllers. But I think the main thing I would say, especially, is the other one. I would say is the whole like menu's really nice, and the UI is very nice, and also the free games you get. The free games you get a month. I would say at the moment they've been, like, per month, they've been better than Xboxes. Xboxes have had some good ones and they've had some really questionable ones. Sony have just seemed to have gotten it really well with their choice at the moment with their PlayStation Plus games. Admittingly, they're about to change it and add PlayStation Now into their system, which is making it really good. Apart from they're now making it £100 a year for adding
mental.
PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 3 only on cloud, because I still haven't figured out how to emulate it properly. And surprisingly, PSP, which I wasn't expecting, as well as PS4, but you can get a bit with the PS4. It's on its own for about £80 a year, I think it is. And then there's the standard £50 for. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to do what Xbox is doing, but just they need to drop the price a bit, just a bit. I think then it would work well. But I think overall, I would say the only real complaint I have with it is obviously the PlayStation 5 is hefty, really, really big. And secondly, is the memory side is poor, I think, against Xbox. It's about half the size of an Xbox with memory. I think it's about 500 and something, where with PlayStation or Xbox, it's Tera. It's a terabyte, which I've literally put a couple of games and I'm already run out of space. I mean, I can't even put PlayStation, the Grand Theft Auto online onto my PlayStation because I have Cyberpunk, Gran Turismo 7, Kingdom Hearts, Dirt 5, and Watch Dogs on all about 50 gigs. So you're thinking, geez. So if you've got quite a bit, I would say. And as another thing, just to warn people, is if you are planning on getting a hard drive for that, you can't use PlayStation 5 games on the hard drive. You can only use PlayStation 4 games on the hard drive. I mean, obviously, they've now done this kind of little kind of hard drive kind of thing where you put inside the console, which is a lot more reliable, just ridiculously expensive for about a terabyte. I think it's about £400-500. I think it is from one of those little things, but they are ridiculously better performance-wise than a PUD like a Seagate hard drive. I don't know what you guys think about.
Yeah, I think they are. They're a lot of money.
The SSDs, isn't they? The SSD.
That's it.
Chip cards. And as Larry was saying, with regarding changing them, they're not as pricey as you'd think they are. Because you can get like a terabyte one for probably about I could guarantee it, you can get a terabyte one for less than 200 quid. But the only
Yes,
problem is just when you're putting it in the console, because you've got to be very careful.
Yeah, you've got to
Yes.
snap the back off, haven't you?
And obviously,
And
you
it's
have to
quite,
take
it's
the,
just
take
literally.
the back off, and then you have to undo some screws, and they've got special screws that
Yeah.
you have to unscrew.
And it's got, and you have to buy one with a heat shield or something.
No, so you can buy your own heat shields and just connect it on it. You don't have to buy it with it, but they
But it
do
just makes it
recommend
easier.
you just do it in one anyway with a heat shield, just because it saves you having to do it. So,
Yeah.
Because I think with Xboxes, I should just say, they don't use that. You use their own little Seagate system, which looks like an
so
old
when
memory
you use
card.
the little Seagate used ones, but then we also can just use any external hard drives, because Xbox have got their own hard drives. And there's one that I was going to pick up the other day. It's a 4 terabyte one for 100 quid.
Yes.
4 terabytes.
That's
You
well
know?
good.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
All right. So Larry's just sold me a PS5. Now I want you to sell me an Xbox X, Series X.
right. So where do I start with the sexy beast? I don't know where to start with it.
I mean, you've already sold me on the memory, to be fair.
Right. Yeah. With regarding obviously the terabyte in it, it is native. It is standard terabyte. So when you update the console and everything, it doesn't fill up your storage with the updates. So like, it has like a system update. They don't use the actual internal storage on the console to do it. It does it automatically through the console.
Only cloud, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure, but like every time I've updated the console, my gigabytes and my storage has never gone up or down.
Yeah.
So, which is good. So that's another thing that Xbox is kind of good with, is regarding storage space. That Sony with PlayStation, they have to use their own external storage on it when Xbox don't. So that's another.
I've just met. Yeah, there is one thing that's actually really bad. Actually, I should mention actually with the PlayStation 5. Actually, it's the same problem with the PS4, and I wish they stopped doing it. Every time you do an update, it has to copy it, which is, I think, to stop it, make it a lot easier. But certain games, it takes forever. It might be a small little update, but because it has to copy it to the game, which could be like a 50 gig game, it takes double or triple the amount of time, just because it only has to copy it. It's an agonizing thing.
But yeah, as I was saying about the Xbox, it's the other benefit it has against the PlayStation is its Game Pass and its gaming subscriptions.
Yeah.
Is that it offers a lot more variety of games for a good price than with Sony's
And new
ones.
games.
They have like a specific, they have specific ones. So they have obviously PlayStation Now, and then obviously PlayStation Plus. So they have two different ones that have different set of games in them. But with regarding obviously Xbox, it has Game Pass, it has EA Play, and then it has obviously Games with Gold. So it has three subscriptions for the price, for literally one price.
And there are new games that will come on straight onto it, like Forza.
Yeah, so there are games that my Xbox will do that have basically day one releases. So any Xbox branded games that Microsoft publish, they'll automatically be on the Game Pass day one. So for example, like Gears of War 5 or Gears 5, that was put straight on the Game
I think
Pass, just
Microsoft,
because obviously Microsoft published it.
Airport Simulator or Plane Simulator was.
Microsoft Flight Simulator, that one is published by Microsoft as well.
And I think what's important is these day one games aren't like just boring any old games. These are massive games. These are big titles. Gears 5, you've got Halo Guardians, you've got Forza Horizon, massive games straight off the bat. You get Sony Xbox, put your Game Pass on, you're having fun straight away.
Yeah, Sony have already said with their new system, they're not putting day one new releases on that system. They've already said that. So yeah, no, it's definitely I agree with the Xbox stick. That is one thing.
The other thing, John, is the controller is a lot. It's not got the obviously haptic feedback on it, but the actual comfort of the controller is a lot nicer, just because it fits well in your hands. Like I feel like your PlayStation 4 and the PS5 controllers are just too long. They just their arms are too long, and especially if you've got little hands. If you've got little hands,
I
It's
am
very
cursed with little
difficult for
hands, to be fair.
someone. It's very hard for someone to actually use a controller like a PlayStation controller because they're so
Yeah.
big. But with an
not
Xbox
that
controller,
big.
they just fit very comfortably in your hands. And if you are got little hands, like my girlfriend, she's got little hands, and she plays Xbox with me, and she uses the controller easily.
Yeah.
And it automatically works with the PC.
Yeah, so it's compatible with PC as well, obviously. So obviously, because Microsoft is a PC company, they use all their controllers and whatnot else, allowing them to use on the PCs, which is something that PlayStation don't do. Again, they're a little bit behind on that. But the other thing is overheating as well. Is another thing. Is that the PlayStation was very, very known at the beginning of its early ages to overheat quite a lot, but it was the same thing for the Series X. A lot of people were criticizing it, saying that it overheated too much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've got to think about it. If you're using that console for 8 to 10 hours straight, you are using power. You're using energy.
I think they've now.
So
I
it's
think
not
they
like
have now fixed those with the updates, haven't they?
it's not like it's going to be cool, for the whole time you're playing it. At the end of the day, it is a console. It is using energy and it's using power. It has to heat up for it to work.
Yeah,
So
of course.
some people don't realize that if you're putting the console in tight confined spaces, like if it's in a drawer or like a cabinet or like a unit that's not allowing air to get to it, because obviously what it does is with the Xbox Series X, the top of it sucks the air in and then it blows the air out of the bottom of it. So if you're blocking the top of the entrance of it, it's not getting air in because it has to be.
No, exactly.
It sucks it in.
No. I mean, admittingly, you can't really do that on a PlayStation 5 because one, it's very thin. Two,
yeah, that's the thing. It's not got a lot. The thing is with the PlayStation, it's not got a lot of. It's got a good air system, but it's terrible how they've designed it. Just because with the shell on it, all the little holes at the top of it, it allows obviously the air to flow through it. But at the same time, the way that they've designed it, it's not great because with the Xbox, it sucks it in and it draws it straight out the back.
Yeah.
But with the PlayStation, it kind of draws it in and it drags it down through the console and out the back. And it's just a weird way how they've designed it. I'm not a lover of it. But as Larry was saying as well, changing the subject with their games and everything as well, as PlayStation are known for their first-person games, their first-person stories, like Spider-Man and God of War and everything else. They are amazing. You can't fault them. You just can't fault them at all. And there's obviously different and exclusives to Xbox that PlayStation don't have. For example, Halo, they don't have that privilege. They don't have the privilege of Gears of War, and all those sort of different titles that, Xbox have. Like, for example, that new Stalker game that's coming out soon, Stalker 2. That's obviously an Xbox exclusive, and that's obviously meant to be really, really good. But then if anyone can name any upcoming exclusives for PlayStation, please tell me now. Because at the moment, I can't think of any.
No, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, it's a good point.
I think either any of that, they're probably delayed or not coming up this year.
I feel like
apart from Spider-Man 2,
with
but I don't think that's out
PlayStation,
this year.
since the PS5 has been released, they have had a massive lack of exclusives for their console. They've had a lack of, it's the same with Xbox, but then again with Xbox, they have a lot of indie games. They have a lot more indie and independent titles on it. But with PlayStation, they're very particular on what they accept on their consoles. They're very picky on what they like. It's the same with Nintendo. Nintendo are exactly the same. They only allow specific titles on their stores. So, everyone has their different rights. But with Xbox, I feel like they care a lot more about their fans and they try and engage more people onto the consoles. But with Sony, they just care about money, 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 and exclusives.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the moment. I'm just looking at the moment to see what exclusive they've got. I think Stray's one that's meant to be quite good. There's the new God of War that's meant to be coming out.
The only ones that they've had recently come out for the PS5 is Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man, Miles Morales,
Gran Turismo 7.
Gran Turismo 7. What was that other one? Oh, blimmin' hell. That horror game, that horror one.
Horizon Zero Forbidden West.
What's the horror one?
What was that horror one?
Oh, I think I know which one you're on. Returnal.
Returnal. Yeah, that was a flop.
No, that's
That's right,
one.
never played it.
No. The Returnal's just got back and gotten a load of awesome BAFTAs.
Oh yeah, well at the beginning of it, it got slated quite a lot just because it had no story to it. It was a little bit weird because it was like obviously an independent company that's done it. It's like new of their game. It's a new game for them. But I mean, it was the artwork and the design and the gameplay was amazing. I loved it, but it was just a story. I just couldn't get on with it. I just couldn't drag on with the story.
Star Wars
I could play that game I could play that game for days though, like going around and just shooting everything. Like it is fun, but it's just the story. Unless a game has a good story, it's not appealing. It's just not.
No, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
You know. Yeah, it's basically like a book. You got to think about it. If the book that you're reading is not appealing and doesn't draw you in, then you're not going to carry on reading it, are you?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Same
No,
thing.
it's fair point.
So, you know, there's a lot of games that I play on Xbox that I don't do just for story. Like I play Jurassic World Evolution 2, and that's not it's got a story to it because it's about all the films. You know, you're replaying the films, but at the same time, I just enjoy it for the park building. I love dinosaurs, and I love designing my own park with them. You know,
That's fair.
but overall, I would say that the Xbox at the moment, gaming wise and like game library wise, I'd say it's better at the moment than PlayStation. Just at the moment, with its subscription service, I say the subscription service blows it out of the water.
Yeah,
I have to know. That's one thing I will absolutely admit. Because I've played both, and I'm both a fan. I mean, I'm just always going to be a fan of PlayStation because I've grew up with them, and I mean, I'm a massive Gran Turismo fan. I'm a massive Spider-Man fan, but I love like Forza. I love some of the great Xbox games like Sunset Overdrive. But even I have to admit, if you look at Game Pass and PlayStation Now, while PlayStation Now might have the better cloud like options, the servers are nowhere near as good.
No,
especially in certain games. I mean, I will say, if I'm placing this against my PlayStation 5, the servers are better on the PlayStation 5. If I've been playing, because I've been playing, I think it was at Belong, I've been playing cloud games. Even I have to admit, I've not seen it drop.
No, and they load really quickly.
However, I will say that might be due to it being a LAN sort of online Wi-Fi their end. I don't know if we tried it outside of there, if the Wi-Fi would be like the connection of the cloud would be different. I don't know. I'd say that we have to be the benefit of doubt. I have to say, but I will say, while Xbox may have the better overall like game collection, even on PC, I will say they don't have the amount of what games on the PlayStation for cloud, which is would say is one thing I am massively into.
Yeah.
I don't know if
bear in mind, with Xbox Cloud Gaming, you can play it on your telly, you can play it on your phone. With Xbox, with PlayStation, you can't do it.
No, you can play. I think you can play on PC. I don't think you can play it on phone yet.
You can play on your phones. Yeah, I can play games on my phone.
Well, with PlayStation Now.
No, he's talking about
Xbox Cloud.
Yeah, I think you do have to have a controller for it.
Yeah, you need a controller. Yeah, so you have this it's like a little attachment that you have to buy, and you connect your phone to it, and it automatically has a controller with it, and then you just connect the controller up, and then you just play it on your phone.
It is very useful
for
that. But no, I think that's the only thing I have against actually Xbox Ultimate is probably the lack of cloud games against what Sony has. But as I say, Sony, I think servers are a bit iffy.
Yeah.
And actually, the one thing I will say, especially with Xbox, is save data is all done by cloud, which Sony doesn't.
No.
And also this is really annoying. I have to be honest, and I wish they didn't with Sony because they've now added cloud onto PlayStation 4. But again, a really good example is Assetto Corsa. If you play that on Xbox, you will get all the content that is free.
Yeah.
Including the updates. If you try that exact same game on the PlayStation 5 or 4, because the weird system it uses doesn't allow DLC, and the updates are a bit dodgy. You can't play all the vehicles in there, even though they're free and you've already got them. It's really annoying with PlayStation 1. I would be honest, it's the one system they need to really fix quickly. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that on the PlayStation 5, that the whole kind of update system is sort of not completely there.
I'll be honest, right? A few topics that you guys have like discussed. Like, I don't play Xbox Cloud. I don't play cloud games on my Xbox because I'd rather just download them and, you know, I've got them ready to play whenever. But the few times, so the other night when we was all online, can you stop hogging the spot, Master? The other night when we was all online, we was going to play Dead by Daylight. So I had it on the cloud and I just noticed straight away it was going to be unplayable. But then we've been on before where we played Halo 5. I think, Larry, you played Halo 5 through the cloud.
Oh, it was awful. But I will say this is through my Series S.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
No, it's by your Xbox One S.
Yeah, Xbox One S.
Xbox One S, not an. Yeah, Larry's not got a Series S. He's got a Xbox One S.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
No, I would say there you have to take that into account with that one.
Yeah, I mean, because I think you had a better experience with that than I would have had with Dead by Daylight. Just loading it up.
Really?
Oh, Larry, do you remember that time when you was playing Halo 5? Oh my god.
Oh my! It was so
you was
laggy.
glitching all over the place.
Yeah.
Literally. That's what I felt like Dead by Daylight would have been for me the other night. It just...
You'd have been flying up the map.
Literally, I was loading it up and I said to Larry, it looks like I'm going to have no troubles. And then I couldn't even tell what game I was playing. And then when you said I was playing something else, I was like, result, because this ain't going to happen. But yeah, so I've not had a lot of experience.
Also, John, I've just noticed as well, the other thing that talking about Xbox and PlayStation is that PlayStation do not have Elite controllers. They don't have them.
That's true.
That is very true.
That's all they have.
See, I quite like, I know you mentioned before about, I quite like the standard Xbox controller, like the one that comes in the box. But equally, I don't hate the PS5 controller either. I really don't.
No,
I think the only problem I have with the PS5 controller is is the reliability. I mean, I had to take mine away to get them for drifting.
Yeah,
which I would. Xbox, I do love the feel of it, but I have to say the triggers on the PS5s are just second to none.
I love the triggers. I love the adaptive triggers on the back. It makes such a big difference. See, I've not played Gran Turismo yet, but on even like Call of Duty Vanguard, I've not played it a lot, but I'm really into my zombies, and the difference it makes on when you're just playing zombies is mad. So I can imagine how good it is on the racing games like Gran Turismo.
Like with the Elite controllers, obviously on Xbox, they have the thumbsticks at the back, so you can switch gears so quick. You can switch gears so quickly with it, and it's like you know what, like a normal Ferrari or a normal Lambo, they don't have the shift pedals on the side of the wheels, on the steering wheels. It's the same as that on the back of the controller. It's like you're driving a car.
Do they still have I think was it quick triggers?
They've still got them. Yeah, look, they've got so they've got them at the back there, so you can add the form
button configurations on it, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so you configure it. So even like if you're using it for shooter games, you can use them as like aim and shoot. Or whatever.
My word, they are ridiculous. I mean, for that sort of stuff, they are really good. The only thing I would say actually, if you are planning on using the triggers for the PS5, turn them off on Dirt 5 because I think you're going to break the controller. Because it goes mad. Because it just goes on and out, and I just feel it's going to break it.
Yeah,
that's terrifying. 5, it's fine. I play it even with running games. It's fine on Gran Turismo 7, but you go and play Dirt 5, it's a complete utter hell. But again, it's not like a proper. It was built for PS4 as well as PS5. I mean, there are games like Cyberpunk, which obviously you got that free upgrade. You play that with the new triggers, it is an absolute love. It's really nice to feel. And same with Siege. that's a really good example. I mean, again, that's a game from past, but it works even better with controllers. I think that's it's the one thing I've always said about. I think it's not always to look at always the consoles. Also, just have a look at the games, have a look at the controller, see how it feels. It's obviously that, and also what can you actually fit in your where you're going to play? Because obviously a PS5 is a lot bigger than an Xbox at the moment.
Oh yeah, you know what?
People
Right?
always say that the PlayStation, the PS5 is like a Wi-Fi hub, and then the Xbox Series X is a fridge.
It's a fridge, and they've then made a fridge.
Believe right when I picked up my PS5 because I got my PS5 before I got my Xbox Series X, and when I went to pick it up, I got the box and I was like, all right, the box is it's a big size. It's obviously got stuff in it like controllers, wires, all that normal stuff. And when I unboxed my PS5, I couldn't quite believe how big it was. Yeah, and then obviously unboxing my Series X, I kind of knew what I was expecting size-wise. But when I got my PS5 home and got it all set up, I'm just, even now we'll look at it and think it's a bloody beast of a machine.
Yeah, because I think there are talks of them making another version that's shrunk in size, but I don't. But that's about it. There's rumours. There's no confirmations of it.
Yeah,
and there's no E3 this year, so you can't even find out if that's true or not.
I've just realised. Did you know this? That the Xbox Series X is actually weighs more than the PS5.
I can actually imagine that. I can imagine that because it's got all of that amount of content in a much more area. So it's probably...
so the PS5 weighs at 4.5 kilograms, so it's about 9.92 pounds. And then the Xbox X Series X weighs at 4.45 kilograms. Oh no, sorry. So the PS5 weighs another 5 grams more. But then
most
he's
of that
saying
will
the
be the
Xbox
fans.
Series X weighs 4.45 kg, but 9.8 pounds. So yeah, so the PS5 weighs another like 10 pounds more. So
I bet the 10 pounds more is due to the fans.
Either that, or it's the
bloody bulk of it. It's huge.
It's made out of.
I mean, admittedly, most of that size and the width of it is because of the giant fans to keep it quiet and cool.
Yeah. But bear in mind, I remember when I had my PS5, and it was the fans are really loud on it. They're not quiet. They are really loud.
Yeah,
they are. I think, however,
compared to my PS4,
I am aware. I think it's mainly for the disc version, not the discless. I think I've heard.
Yeah, I know, but that's because it hasn't got to run a motor. That's why the motor in the disc has to run. But like my Series X doesn't make any noise, no matter when I'm playing it or when it's updated. It don't make no noise.
No, my Series X is dead quiet. Literally, I could put my Series X on in the middle of the night, and you wouldn't know. But if I put my PS5
working. I sometimes I go, is it actually working?
Yeah, literally. I sometimes forget I've turned it on. Like, if I come to sit down, if I don't look at the box and the X light is on, I'm like, did I even turn it on? But the PS5, I know as soon as I've turned it on, I'm like, right, there's the aeroplane.
There are certain games you can tell it's working. It's like, for me, it's Cyberpunk. I can always hear that game. It's like Cyberpunk, you always hear the fans go off.
John, it's ready to land. It's landing.
Literally, like, I must admit, compared to my PS4, that's
like a jet. That's like a jet going off.
My PS4 was so bloody loud. I honestly thought at one time it's just going to blow up.
No, mine, I think there was a reason because mine had a game bar on top of it. So mine actually had reason behind it. But
see, mine was just in my units, like the rest of them are. Like, they're in their little squares.
But sometimes people forget that with consoles, they have a lifespan. And it depends how much you use it. It depends on how you look after it. And it also depends on, whether you keep it clean and keep it dust free. Because if you don't clean them, they'll end up dying within 5 years' time.
So
that's what I always do. I always check mine probably twice a month. Yeah. And I dust it all and I clean it all and just keep it. You got to look after it at the end of the day. You got to look after them.
No, of course you have. I'm trying to figure out when I actually got my PS4 because I was quite fortunate. I only had the one. I never had to send it off. I've only had one before. No, I only got one.
Mine was a bundle
I
which
used
came
to
with
buy
Draft Club.
multiple PS4s from CEX, and I didn't want them. I just thought.
Brilliant. Let me figure out when I got that. It must have been.
By the way, guys, I've got to head off soon just because I am popping over to a friend's house to see their dogs for work. So,
Oh, that's fine. We're nearly done anyway. We're just having a nice little debate.
Yeah.
I must have got my PS4 because I got that and Gran Turismo 5 in the bundle. That come out in November 2014. I'm pretty sure I got it for Christmas.
Yeah,
So,
because the Xbox
actually, I might have got it for my birthday.
Did you know the PS4 come out later than the original Xbox One? It come out later.
Yeah,
they did.
It come out a year.
Yeah, so I had an Xbox One first. I got it day one.
Because Xbox One come out in 2013.
So then, yeah, I got my PS5. So I got my PS5 in 2015. And I was quite fortunate. I had it all the way through. Nothing ever went wrong with it.
No, same with mine.
My Xbox One, see, I had that day one. And
I've gone through 2.
See, I didn't buy another one
Larry,
because I was going to get the Series X.
Yeah.
But my
Larry,
disc
you
tray
had a
went
white
in.
one, didn't you?
I originally had a black one. I got from
I was going to
CX.
say, I had day one.
I had a black one originally. I had to take that one back because it was more working. Got another one, and then I replaced it to get an S because it was a lot more thinner, and I preferred it. And then I've had that one ever since. Yeah, it's probably more quiet.
Yeah, it's a lot more quieter than the original Xbox One. Yeah.
So throughout this whole thing, I don't think we've come up with a single con for the Xbox Series X. And quite honestly,
I'll give you one con. The only con that I do give it is the obviously the official Seagate expansion storages for the Xbox is way overpriced for what they are, and that's why I would rather go for the older hard drives that Xbox have, so like the 4 terabyte one that I found for £100. I'd rather get one of them than the little expansion back ones on the back.
No, although I have been out and see them in used places, and they're not too bad.
No, like the thing is, they are good for convenience. So, like for example,
it's like a literary memory card.
If you don't want to carry around a big fat hard drive with you, you just take one of those little things. They're like a little USB stick. It's all it is.
It's basically. Do you remember your PlayStation 2 memory cards?
Yeah, it's like that.
It's literally those. They're literally those.
Not too sad, to be fair though.
It's literally like one of these. That's all it is. It just goes into the back of the console.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any discounts. I think the only thing is probably is I know the reliability. There was some issues, but I think now it's a lot better than they were.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like because apparently at that first batch people had problems where they'd melt.
No, I had one of our friends that just wouldn't run. They just wouldn't start and everything. They just wouldn't run. So no, I'm aware it was a bit of a problem. But then again, PS5 had that. But I think again they've run out.
So going back to a point that one of you's come up with. Now, I've obviously where I've got both, I've seemed to have, and I don't know if it's just me, but you always go on about how quick the Xbox games download, but mine seem to be a lot slower. I feel like the games download a lot quicker for me on my PS5.
I will have to say that's probably true. I do feel the games do download quick on PS5.
Yeah, but do you know why? Because it runs dual SSD. That's why. See, with the Series X, it downloads it through its own SSD in the actual console. But with the PS5, it has dual, so that's why.
Okay, so you learned something new every day. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I think it is also Xbox use their own servers as well. I think which PlayStation don't.
Yeah, PlayStation use different ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just whenever I get a game for Xbox, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be here for a good hour. But
no, I remember GTA. I think it took about 6 hours.
Jesus. Literally, whenever I've got a game on PS5, I can download it within 15, 20 minutes and I'm playing.
I think the longest I've had to wait is probably Gran Turismo 5 or Cyberpunk for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'd say that's the longest usually, because I use wired connection on my Xbox, so it does download it quicker, and plus I've got boosters. So
Yeah.
that, you know, but
Yeah.
you've got to remember that having wireless internet connection, it is slower anyway because you've got all the interference. So
Yeah, that's true.
it's always best to have wired connection anyway. It's always best to have
if you
wired.
can.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair. I feel like we're at the end of our debate anyway. I feel like we've hit
Yeah, no, I think
a lot of good points. I still don't think I can sit here today and say one console is better than the other because
oh no,
both hold
no.
a big place in my heart. But you know, I prefer one console for some things, and I prefer the other console for some things. But I don't think I could ever sit here, not now and not in a few months, and go, actually, that console's better than the other one because of this.
No, it's not like the old days. It's not. I think in the old days, if you look at the Sega Nintendo wars or the Sinclair Commodore wars, which were genuine rivalries, where now it's more just a kind of old-fashioned, kind of friendly rivalry that sort of everyone wants to happen to because they kind of need it. But it's not like you will end up in fisticuffs over it, because I know there have been that situations in the past, especially in the old days of like the Commodore and the ZX Spectrum, where there were proper wars over that, and same with like Sega and Nintendo as well, in the old days as well.
I'll sit here right now and tell you I was a Nintendo fanboy over Sega. Now, I love my Dreamcast, but I've always loved Nintendo consoles more over Sega. But, you know, but like you said, that was more of a, you must choose one or the other. Nowadays, it's more of a preference. It's just some people prefer the Xbox, some people prefer the PlayStation. But I don't know. I honestly still can't sit here this amount of time on and say, yeah, I'd pick this one over the other.
No, agree.
But that's it. That is the end of our the great debate. We're still sitting on the fence. Both consoles are great. I think that's fair to say. We can agree on that. Both consoles are brilliant. And yeah, whatever console you want to get, whatever console you can get hold of, pick one up if you haven't already.
Good luck.
And enjoy it. Yeah, good luck. It took me a long time to get hold of both.
Yeah, because I think I've seen some places saying they've got PS5s back, but it's all online at the moment.
Yeah, I think I managed to sneak a PS5 because of someone I knew held one back for me. And then I managed to sneak an Xbox because someone I knew held one back for me. So I got quite lucky getting hold of them. But yeah, the amount of time it took me to get hold of even one of them was a complete joke. But, you know, I feel like my life's complete. I've got both of them and I'm happy. I just get to game and do what I love. So yeah. Boys, I will see you all tomorrow. Larry, you won't be seeing this at all.
I think I will.
We will see you all next time for the next video here on the Essex Wolves YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment. Share with all your friends. And we'll see you soon.
Peace.